The start of a new big project in Satisfactory is an exciting time. Some players will just be winging it and have no idea what they're going to come up with. Other players will have everything planned to an absolute T, flowcharts, sketches, and everything else. But the famed boxer and philosopher Mike Tyson once said, "Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face." My approach keeps this sage wisdom in mind. I plan in a sense of having the right resources at hand, knowing how many of each machine I need, and a rough sense of the design. But other than that, I just let it flow. Sometimes I get punched in the face, like forgetting to leave space for the output of a factory or something like that, and I just have to adapt. And sometimes the result is unexpectedly great. So here it is, the side of my 90 per minute electromagnetic control rods factory. We have 5 inputs to this factory. We have caterium, which we're mining from this miner right here. We have copper coming from right here. We have 4 iron nodes over there, one of them currently tapped, and coal coming from back what you just saw. The 5th input is water, which I've already built over there. You can see we need 420 water per minute, I think. And so we have 4 water extractors pulling 480 water per minute out of that little pond right there. We could fit in a few more if we wanted to make a bigger factory, but then it would be hard to make it look good. So one of the good things about electromagnetic control rods and the recipes I've chosen to use at least is that you have components that are made out of coal and iron and components that are made out of copper and caterium. So it's almost divided into 2 separate factories, which you can then bring together for the electromagnetic control rods at the end. I am using an alternate recipe, copper alloy ingot, that requires iron as well as copper. It helps reduce the amount of copper that you need to do it. So you do have this miner, why that one's built, that will be going into the copper and caterium part, and then the other 3 nodes will be mixing with this coal for the steel parts that we need as well. So for this 90 per minute electromagnetic control rods factory, we need a lot of buildings. And so we're gonna need a lot of space. To do this, we need 44 smelters, 23 foundries, 20 refineries, 88 assemblers, and 69, nice, constructors. A lot of buildings. It's going to take about 2.7 gigawatts of power as well to power all of these buildings. But as you saw in a former video, I just made a 10 gigawatt power plant that's easily expandable to more if we need it. So power is not going to be a problem, but we do have to build a lot of buildings. And so space is at a premium here. This platform that you see in front of you is the spot for our 20 refineries. We're going to lay them out all in one row of 20 all the way down. And all of those refineries goes to making steamed copper sheets because we have to make a ton of AI limiters for this factory. Hey, let's get building our first video with no coffee cups. Remind me if my coffee cup pops up to turn it off. Part of update 6, you press H, it holsters whatever you have in your hand. Now I have my hover pack on, so I have it in both hands here. Got 20 refineries to build here for our steamed copper sheets. Okay, good thing to remember, if you're using your hover pack, make sure you're fully covered with temporary power poles for your flying pleasure. Okay, so we have 19 of these to go. Let's pump it out. Okay, we got our 20 refineries. That takes up an incredible amount of space. This platform is, I think, about 31 foundations long. We're gonna have these smokestacks stick out of the building itself, which I like to do. Puffs out the smoke on the outside of the building, makes it all look a little bit more alive when you have something going like that. Now I need to count all these and make sure I built the right amount. There's a new feature in update 6 that I forgot they added that I was just very pleasantly surprised to find. So if you have 20 things to put recipes on like this, and I pick my steam copper sheets, you can hit Control C to copy them. You used to have to go into the menu and then hit Control V to paste them onto another machine. Now you can just look at it and hit Control V. And now you see the recipe is on. So that is a great time saver, especially for this factory because we have so many long lines of machines to do. That will definitely speed things up. Now we got our recipes on. I want to get our raw materials coming into this building. We're not going to be using this caterium today, but I want to get a design going where I know where the raw materials are coming into this building. So Got a little bit of a rethink here. I had these two outputs from the miner side by side, and they looked a little wonky because they didn't have the same spacing between them as I pulled them over on this angle. So I decided to stack them, which looks a little bit better, and they're both going on the same path. So when you look at them from above, you only see one. So that's our inputs sorted: Caterium on top, copper on the bottom, because copper is going to go down. I think what I'm going to do is actually just attach these splitters straight to the ends of these lifts, because we need to be able to feed our pipes in here and need to get the belts off the ground to be able to do so. But I have 20 of these to do, and I really don't want to fiddle around with splitter stacks, etc., to get it to line up a little bit better. So I'm just going to stick all the mergers, or all the splitters, on the end of the lifts. We got our first rain here that I've seen. Ah, beautiful. Look at that. Wet concrete. Looks pretty awesome. Nice and shiny. Go check out something over here. I have this kind of indoor-outdoor water extractor area. Oh, yes. Awesome. I was hoping it would be like that. Check that out. So it's raining. Very wet. Not raining underneath the roof. Doesn't that look interesting? Oh, there's a little gap. Huh, that's interesting. In between the slanted roof and the flat roof. Right here. Apparently there's a little gap. Makes that line of wetness funny. All right, back to the building. But rain, another new feature in update 6. Very cool. We have the splitters and lifts hooked up for the copper ingots to come in, and now we need to hook up the pipes. All right, pipes are in, belts are in, no materials are in. So let's go grab the water and figure out how we want to bring it over. We have the inputs for the copper and the water ready to go, and since I've been thinking about the new buildables, and a lot of them help you have a few more options with these quarter pipes, I thought I'd build this. It's a little bit like a sewer, and have the water come in that way through there. I think that'll look pretty good. And then we'll have the iron come in somewhere near there, and it's going to go up to the next floor on top of these refineries, because that's where we'll make all the copper ingots with our copper alloy ingot recipe. And actually what I'll do to maybe make this look even cooler is I'm going to take these new half foundations and put them on top of here. Just had a brilliant lightning bolt of inspiration. We do that, then we have 1 meter to work with here to go across. And I think we'll pull out our glass frame foundations, and if we make them go like this, I think this will look pretty cool, because we'll have our water pipe running through here and we should be able to see it through the floor. Actually, let's go grab the pipe right now and bring it out to this section. I already made a floor hole for it on the other end, so we'll just get the right hotbar. Come on, DrLootCrate. There we go. And we'll bring the pipe out this way. That's too long, so let's stop here. Okay, and then we have our water pipe through our sewer here. It took me quite a while to come up with a solution that's made this even look half decent to get our water over. I started in a kind of a weird place. I had this building already there, had pipe coming in at an angle, made it all pretty difficult to get together. So what I've come up with here is this nice little tunnel that the pipe comes in the wall, comes out that wall, comes down here, and then goes into our sewer pipe down here and up into our refineries to make our steam copper sheets. So what I've done to hide this really wonky part where it comes in at an angle is make this grate, and you can see the pipe come through the wall and into the other wall, a little curvy and weird there. I made this grate out of beams, and so you can still kind of see through there, and it covers up this weird angle. It's not perfect, but it still is better than it looked before. And so I also added these design elements over here, which I thought are pretty cool. I've actually never done this before, and I just kind of wanted something to be a little bit more three-dimensional. It's something that will carry across the rest of these minor buildings, just to give it a little bit more oomph, and then match it up down here at the bottom to get that pattern up and down. So let's do a little decoration here on the refinery. So what I said I wanted to do was get these smokestacks to stick out of the top of the roof. So if we take our hex frame windows, which I normally like to use, and we'll build this 5 high, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then get the roof. I'm gonna use a steel roof, metal roof, I guess it's called now, or maybe it was before, and do 2 of these 4-meter ones, and it will go like that, and the smokestack will clip through. But when you turn on the machine, it will output the smoke here, so it will look pretty cool, I think. So what I'm gonna do is just zoop these down all the way and then go from there. We might build out a little bit down there at the bottom, but those window walls are just there to kind of as placeholders for now. Again, I'm trying to make these buildings maybe have a little bit more 3 dimensions. Oftentimes I'll make different layers of buildings, and I'll have railings and walkways and that kind of stuff, but oftentimes one of the sides will just be flat. So I'm going to try to not do that in this build and do something a little bit better, especially because we have some new buildables to work with that might help us meet that goal. There's all the roof. Can't say it, it's my accent. I want to say roofs. But we have all the roofs in. I still can't say it. Outtakes. We have all the roofs in, and they have the smokestacks poking through, and I think that looks pretty cool. I think that'll look really cool once we get them turned on and going. As I said, I want to make this a little bit more 3-dimensional than usual, so I'm actually going to start with these tilted walls, and we're going to zoop these all the way down. And I don't have very many iron plates, so we might have to go grab some iron. Very, very green. Just take a look. I want to see how this is shaping up as we're building it, and get a look from this side. Since we have the train tracks here, we can actually use our hover pack out from this side. It's very green. I'm not sure that I like it. Let me see if I can change this to concrete and see how it looks better. That green is just too hot. I rarely use the fix-it walls. And do I get my iron plates back for this? I hope. But I rarely use my fix-it walls. I think the colors, obviously I can control the color by changing the swatch, but I like my machines to be bright, but sometimes these walls are just too much. I like something maybe a little bit more understated. Okay, there's our final design of our little arches. I think this looks pretty good. It's a pretty good compromise. I'm probably gonna put green walls up the outside, little metal roof up here too. Maybe, we'll see. I like the columns for sure. I think what I wanna do is extend the roof part one here so it goes in between like this, and to finish it off we will close it up with clear glass like we did this one. We'll take it all the way down. With the factory this big to build, I kind of want to keep the complicated designs to a minimum, but I know this is kind of the front door of the factory, so to speak. It's what you see when you drive up on the train. I wanted to make sure this looked pretty good and give it a little something extra. Like I said, try to give it that 3-dimensional look. I do think it's striking. It may not be the best looking thing that I've ever made, but I wanted to make some arches since I never was able to do that before. These windows do look pretty cool. We're going to be putting on more floors here, back here, behind the smokestacks of the refineries as well. So that will change the look of the building too when this starts going up and up over here. We're going to need a lot of space for a lot of machines, so we're going to see this become pretty tall. With the refineries done, I wanted to check if they're working, and I really just want to take the next step in this process. So I've gone ahead and built out my copper ingot foundry. So this requires 12 foundries. 4.5 of them will be going down to our refinery. So I have them split off here with these 4, and then half of this foundry will be going this way and going down to the refineries. And then those 7 and this half will be going eventually upstairs to our quick wire manufacturing area. So, and here's the source of our iron ore that we need, and you can see it's a little bit at an angle. And so if I go ahead and put my foundation in there, you can see it clips pretty bad and flickers, and I really hate that. And so I tried something that appears to work to stop doing that. I don't know if it's systematic or not, but if we pull out our new half foundations. Put those in there. No clipping. Well, I mean, it clips, but no flickering. So I don't know if that's always going to work, but in this case, half foundations stop the flickering, which is vastly preferable. So we're gonna bring our iron right down here and bring it up via floor hole up to the next level of the factory. All right, it's a beautiful new night sky. Check it out. Beautiful. Extra planets, extremely bright moon, very starry sky. I love it. And the fact that I can film something at night and you guys can actually see it. Even if I turn off my little light, it's not too bad. So I have the refineries hooked up. I have the foundries hooked up. I have the power and the recipes hooked up. We have the iron coming in here when I plug it in, and we'll have the copper coming in over there. Our water is already in. So let's just give this a try and see if it works. All right, there we go. The copper should start coming out now. Now we're eventually going to have Mark III miners over here. I just didn't have the supercomputers with me to do it. So these things aren't going to be full by any means. So I can get the right amount of iron coming out. I need 300 iron per minute. So let's overclock this miner to the proper level. All right, so that is running at full speed. And let's see, there's a foundry doing work. Okay, good. So we need to bring our copper ingots here into this row and go down this infinitely long row of refinery. We'll bring this down a floor hole right here and then bring it down and around to the refineries. And now let's go turn on the whole system and see, watch it works. We'll hook the power back up over here. Okay, so we have our iron in, we have our copper in, and now let's just hook up this power and see if the whole system is working as intended. And there we go, we had some ingots heading down this way. So let's go downstairs and see if our refineries are pumping. Well, we can tell right there, that's why we put the smokestacks through. So the refineries are pumping, and we have our smoke coming out. And I think this is gonna end up looking pretty cool. Let's go up on this and take a look. So I think this front is going to end up looking pretty cool with the smoke coming out of here all the time, puffing, and there'll be a darker background behind that smoke when the next floor gets put on. So I think that's going to look pretty cool. So we have all the copper ingots that we need, 1200 per minute once we switch out those miners, and we have all the copper sheets that we have now made from those ingots in the water, 450 per minute. So in the next episode of this Let's Play making electromagnetic control rods, we're going to hook up the quick wire, which we need a lot of it, 1800 per minute. So we're gonna have to make Caterium ingots and use the rest of our copper ingots to do that. So that's it for today. Like and especially subscribe if you want to catch the rest of the videos in this series and see this factory go from the ground to finished. Thanks for joining me today. I'm DrLootCrate, and stay stoked out there.